Ilúvatar showed Valar his vision of the world. However, the Valar didn't know the exact dates of individual events. They didn't know exactly when the elves would wake up, but they sensed that the time was coming. Finally, they called a council at which they considered declaring war on Melkor so that he would not defile the firstborn with evil. If you enjoy our content, consider subscribing to the channel. Leave ideas for future videos in the comments down below. Varda from the top of Taniquetil looked at Middle-earth illuminated only by distant stars. She decided to change it by collecting dew from the huge balls standing under the sacred tree. She began to create new, brighter stars. Old stars, on the other hand, were collected into clusters and created guidance in the sky. When her work came to an end, in the land of Cuivinen, which is now impossible to find on the map, the firstborn woke up from a dream. The first thing they saw was a beautiful, shining sky. At first, 3 elves woke up with their wives. They wanted to speak and sing to admire the beauty of their women and the beauty of Arda. So they sat together developing names for the next things. They called themselves Quendi, which meant speakers, for they didn't yet know other beings capable of speaking. After a while they left the valley. They reached another green valley where they found 12 sleeping elves. Imin, the first to wake, took those elves into his group. They sat together again and developed their language even more. A similar situation was repeated several times. Subsequent elves also fed groups of those who woke up as second and third. A total of 144 elves woke up. Imin and his smallest group of 14 elves were later known as Vanyar. 56 under the leadership of Tata turned into Noldor, and the largest group of 74 elves led by Enel became known as Teleri. The first to find elves was Melkor, and he quickly began to send shadows and evil spirits towards Cuivinen. It happened that the elf who had separated from the group never returned. Sometime later, Orome was the first of the Valar to learn about Quendi, as he once ventured far east during his hunts. When the elves spotted the rider on a white horse, some of them identified him with the fearsome hunter and immediately fled. Those more courageous, however, stayed and quickly got to know the light beating from the Aman emissary. Vala spent several days with them, getting to know them as best as he could, and then rushed to Valinor to present the situation to other Valar. He also mentioned the evil forces that disturbed the peace over Cuivinen. The Valar decided to fight Melkor openly. This battle went down in history as the Battle of the Powers. The elves knew little about it, but they sensed it and saw signs of a great battle. The Valar left guards over Cuivinen and headed for Tumno. Later, the earth trembled and groaned under the feet of the firstborn. The sky reddened with glow as if huge fires were burning behind the horizon, and the water was breaking down. So far, the quiet air now was disturbed with the sounds of these struggles. The Valar defeated Melkor and dragged him in chains to Valinor. Melkor was sentenced to 300 years in Mandos prison. Unfortunately, the Valar didn't manage to wipe out all the evil that had been inflicted during Melkor's time in Middle-earth. Later, the Valar decided to bring the firstborn to Valinor. The elves were initially unwilling to accept this invitation because they didn't see any of the Valar besides of Orome. Orome selected from the elves a group of representatives whom he was to take to Valinor so that they could see the beauty of the Blessed Kingdom, and then report it to their brethren. The choice fell on Ingwe, Finwë, and Elwë, later kings of individual clans. They fell in love with the majestic Valinor, and after returning to Cuivinen, the representatives persuaded the others to take the journey west. Up to now, 3 elven clans lived in harmony with each other, but now the first division took place. Those who willingly went to Valinor were called Eldar. Those who preferred the pale glow of the stars and the open areas of Middle-earth were hailed as Avari. The Eldars quickly prepared for the expedition and set off. Through Middle-earth, they were led by emissaries of the Valar. The Vanyar and the Noldor were the first to reach the Blessed Kingdoms. Teleri stayed in Beleriand a little longer because they heard Ulmo's call too late. Besides, they were also looking for their leader, Elve Singollo, who was lost. Teleri chose his brother Olve to take the leadership. The entire clan moved after a while to the west coast. Finally, Finve, the king of the Noldor, begged Ulmo to return to Beleriand and take Teleri to the Blessed Kingdoms. Most of them agreed to live with Vala. Those who remained in Middle-earth were later called Falatim, and Círdan the Shipwright became their leader. There were also those who remained out of loyalty to the Lost King, and these we'll call Eglat.